I went into the hospital at 8 p.m., dilated to a whole 1 centimeter, and not a single contraction up to this point. And 12 and a half hours later at 8:30 a.m., I was holding my little boy in my arms. No C-section, no epidural, no Pitocin. So how did it happen? Well, I think it had to do with these 3 simple things that I did during my pregnancy and a whole lot of God's mercy. You might be saying to yourself, well, she just got lucky, or it's probably genetic because her mom had easy labors. Well, my mom actually had 2 C-sections and a VBAC that lasted 36 hours, so it's probably not that. But the only thing that I did different was I drank red raspberry leaf tea, I tried to avoid slouching, and I ate 4 dates a day for 4 weeks of my pregnancy. Maybe they were just old wives' tale, I wasn't sure, but I thought it was worth trying because who doesn't want to make their labor and delivery just a little bit easier? So the first thing, like I said, was I drank red raspberry leaf tea. This is the brand that I used. It's just organic raspberry leaf tea. I'm sure there's lots of them out there, but I'll go ahead and link this one in the description below so that if it interests you, you can check it out too. It's just the one that was accessible to me. I drank 1 cup of it starting in the 2nd trimester every day until week 39 when I doubled up and started drinking 2 bags in my glass each day. I drink it hot and I drink it cold. Sometimes I put fruit in it. That's how I drink my tea. The research actually does support this. The research found that it decreased the length of the 2nd stage of labor, which is pushing. So yes, definitely sign me up. And that it decreased the chance of needing to use forceps during your delivery, which was something that I really didn't want to be a part of my birth story if it didn't have to be. So that's it, red raspberry leaf tea. The second thing was eating 4 dates every day starting at week 36 until I delivered. Now, I don't know about you, but dates aren't something that I normally consume. In fact, Lara bars was pretty much the extent of my date eating. But hey, I was willing to give it a try because there was a study done in 2017 that said, it was a pretty big study. It had like 182 participants. It was a randomized control trial and all that good stuff. And they actually found that it decreased the overall length of delivery and it minimized the need for oxytocin to progress labor. So I was like, hey, that sounds like what I want, so let's give it a try. I would eat them with peanut butter on them sometimes. Sometimes I would blend them up and make smoothies out of them because I'm not gonna lie, eating dates for that long did get old after a while, but hey, again, I was willing to do it if it meant chances of a smooth delivery for me. The only thing that you should know about them is that they do have a lot of, just naturally a lot of sugar in them. So if you're eating a lot of other fruits or processed sugars, be careful, especially if you have gestational diabetes. A lot of sugar isn't really good for you or baby. So kind of monitor how much sugar you're intaking when you get to this point and if you're gonna go ahead and give it a try. The third thing is that we really want to deliver baby in a head down, occiput anterior, or face down position. We know that that makes labor and pushing a lot easier for mom and baby. So thankfully, my baby was never breech or transverse or any of that, and he did end up coming out face down, so that was awesome. There's not a lot we can control about that, but there are 2 things that I found can't hurt and might actually work. The first there is some research on, and that is chiropractors using the Webster technique to work on positioning of baby and also the alignment of your pelvis that's optimal for delivering baby. And so there's lots of them around, so just check if there's a local one in your area that is Webster technique trained. The second thing there was much less research about, but I can't see that it would do any harm, and the research did show that it can minimize pain for moms. So if you're having a lot of aches and pains during labor, this is definitely something worth trying. What it is you avoid slouched reclined postures. So when you're sitting down, you try to avoid really laying back in your recliner. When you're at work, you try to avoid, slouching and posterior tilting your pelvis. So that means you're gonna put pillows behind you, you're gonna adjust your chair in your work area to accommodate that. The other thing is having your hips up above your knees. So maybe you're gonna sit on the exercise ball instead of your normal chair, or maybe you're just gonna adjust the height of your office chair to try to get hips above knees. The other thing at the end of the day is just doing what they call a puppy dog pose. And with that, it just takes a little bit of pressure off your back and kind of encourages baby to fall forward. And that's what we want. So I would do this after a long day of work. And I felt like it brought me some relief, as well as maybe, just maybe, kept baby in the right position for delivery. So those are the 3 things I did. There's some research to show that they work. I had a 12-hour start to finish experience with only 30 to 40 minutes of pushing, and baby was face down, so I thought that was a win, and I'm definitely going to try it again in my next labor and delivery, because what do I have to lose? I do want to go ahead and say that you should definitely check with your provider. Even though these things don't really pose a lot of risk, it's always good to just make sure that with your specific birth story that these things are okay for you and your baby. So check with them before you implement any of these changes. I would love to see in the comments if you think you're going to try any of these things, or maybe you did try some of these things and they worked, or no, lady, you're crazy, they didn't work at all. It's always great to share these stories with each other so that we can learn more about what makes the birth experience so amazing. Thanks so much for joining me today. As always, give me a thumbs up if you liked what you saw today, and subscribe to my channel if you want to see more.